Hey there, folks! It's 2025, and let's talk about Kentucky, or as I like to call it, America's unfiltered heart. It's where charm meets chaos, and the sweet tea flows as freely as well, you'll see in the next section. Picture this: rolling hills, bluegrass so green it could make Ireland jealous, and more bourbon than you can shake a stick at. But don't get too comfy, because Kentucky's got a wild side. It's like that friend who's always down for a good time, but might accidentally set the kitchen on fire while making nachos. Intrigued? Buckle up, Buttercup. We're going on a ride. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the dark cloud hovering over certain parts of the Bluegrass State. Kentucky, known for its rolling hills, horse racing, and bourbon, has a darker side that often goes unnoticed. Kentucky's homicide rates in its major cities are nothing to brag about. In fact, they are alarmingly high, causing concern among residents and officials alike. In 2025, they ain't pretty. The statistics paint a grim picture, with an increase in violent crimes that has left communities reeling. Louisville, let's just say it's higher than Colonel Sanders' blood pressure after a bucket of extra crispy. The city, known for its vibrant culture and history, is now grappling with a surge in homicides that has everyone on edge. Lexington, home to UK and a surprising amount of, unexpected departures. This city, often associated with academic excellence and youthful energy, is facing a troubling rise in violent incidents. Bowling Green, don't let the name fool ya, there's some serious stuff going down. Once a quiet, peaceful town, it now finds itself in the throes of a crime wave that has left many residents feeling unsafe. Owensboro. They're known for barbecue, but the homicide rate is more well done than anyone prefers. This city, famous for its culinary delights, is now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Covington, located right across from Cincinnati, it seems some of Ohio's problems crossed the river. The proximity to a major metropolitan area has brought its own set of challenges, including a spike in violent crimes. Look, I'm not saying don't visit. Kentucky still has a lot to offer, from its natural beauty to its rich cultural heritage. Just maybe invest in a good travel insurance policy, just in case. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when exploring areas that have seen a rise in crime. So pack your bags, but also pack a little extra caution. Let's talk about what Kentucky is actually known for: horses and bourbon. This state is a treasure trove of rich traditions and spirited celebrations. From the moment you step into Kentucky, you can feel the energy and excitement that surrounds these two iconic elements. It's like the state motto is giddy up and bottoms up. The Kentucky Derby is not just a horse race. It's an event that brings people together from all walks of life. The thrill of watching those magnificent creatures race down the track is matched only by the camaraderie and joy shared among the spectators. You got your Kentucky Derby, where everyone pretends to understand horse racing for a day. It's a spectacle of fashion, with ladies donning their fanciest hats and gentlemen in their sharpest suits. The atmosphere is electric, filled with cheers, laughter, and the occasional gasp as the horses thunder past the finish line. And then there's the bourbon. From Maker's Mark to Jim Beam to Evan Williams, each brand tells a story of craftsmanship and heritage. The distilleries are like temples, where the art of bourbon making is revered and celebrated. The rich amber liquid is more than just a drink. It's a symbol of Kentucky's spirit and resilience. Kentucky's got enough to drown your sorrows or celebrate absolutely anything. Whether you're toasting to a new job, a birthday, or just the end of a long week, bourbon is the drink of choice. It's a social lubricant that brings people together, fostering connections and creating memories. But Kentucky's more than just horses and hooch. The rolling hills and lush pastures are a testament to the state's natural beauty. The countryside is dotted with picturesque farms and charming small towns, each with its own unique character and history. It's got a certain charm, a slower pace of life, and some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet. The locals are known for their hospitality and warmth, always ready to share a story or lend a helping hand. Life here moves at a gentler rhythm, allowing you to savor the simple pleasures. Just, maybe avoid talking about politics at the dinner table. Conversations can get a bit heated, but that's just part of the charm. In Kentucky, you'll find a community that values tradition, celebrates life, and welcomes you with open arms. Alright folks, time for some Kentucky trivia that'll make you the life of your next Zoom meeting. Whether you're a trivia buff or just love to impress your friends with random facts, these tidbits about the Bluegrass State are sure to get some reactions. Did you know Kentucky has the largest cave system in the world? That's right, it's called Mammoth Cave, and it's a subterranean wonderland that stretches for miles and miles. It's so vast, in fact, that you could probably lose the entire state of Delaware in there. Imagine wandering through those dark, winding passages and stumbling upon hidden chambers and underground rivers. And speaking of losing things, Kentucky is also home to the lost city of Transylvania. No, seriously, this isn't just some spooky legend, it's a real place with a fascinating history. It's not just a Dracula thing. The name actually comes from the Latin words for across the woods, and it was once a thriving settlement before it faded into obscurity. Oh, and if you're a fan of fried chicken, you can thank Kentucky for that too. The state is famous for its delicious, crispy fried chicken, and it's all thanks to one man. Colonel Sanders opened his first KFC in Corbin, Kentucky back in 1930. His secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices has become a global sensation, making Kentucky a culinary landmark. See, Kentucky's not all gloom and doom. It's a state rich in history, natural beauty, and quirky charm. From its rolling hills and horse farms to its vibrant music scene, there's something for everyone. It's got its quirks, just like any good dysfunctional family. So next time you're on a Zoom call, drop some of these fun facts and watch your friends' faces light up with surprise and delight. Now, let's talk money, honey. The cost of living in Kentucky is lower than the national average, which is great news if you're not a millionaire horse breeder. You can get a decent-sized house for the price of a one-bedroom apartment in New York City, and your dollar goes a lot further at the grocery store. Of course, this being Kentucky, you'll probably spend half your paycheck on bourbon and lottery tickets. But hey, that's the price you pay for living in the Bluegrass State of mind, am I right? Remember that dark cloud I mentioned earlier? It's not literal, though knowing Kentucky weather, it could be. It's more of a metaphor for that underlying sense of, let's call it impending doom that hangs over the state. Maybe it's the poverty, maybe it's the opioid crisis, maybe it's just the fact that Kentucky's been through a lot. Whatever it is, it's there, lurking beneath the surface like a catfish in a muddy creek. But hey, it's not all bad news in Kentucky. We've also got some bright spots like our thriving music scene. Jack Harlow, the rapper who's so smooth he could sell ice to an Eskimo, hails from Louisville. And then there's ESTG, another Louisville native, whose gritty lyrics paint a picture of life on the streets of Kentucky's biggest city. These guys are proof that even in the darkest corners of the Bluegrass State, talent can blossom. 3 states, 1 border, endless possibilities. Here's a fun fact for you. Kentucky is one of only 2 states in the U.S. that borders 3 different states along its northern border. That's right, folks. Kentucky's northern border is a free-for-all of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. It's like the state couldn't decide which neighbor it liked best, so it just invited them all over. Now you might be thinking, so what? Who cares about borders? Well, imagine trying to explain to someone from, say, California, that you live in a place where you can drive north and end up in 3 different states. Yeah, it's confusing. Manufacturing our future, and maybe some car parts. So what keeps the lights on in Kentucky, besides bourbon distilleries and horse racing tracks? Well, in 2025, manufacturing is still a major player in the state's economy. We're talking cars, aerospace parts, food products, you name it. Kentucky's probably making it. It's not the most glamorous industry, but hey, somebody's gotta do it. And besides, at least it's not coal mining anymore. Progress, people!